Tonight on CTV News, fears about private property rights.
If that brick comes loose and things start to collapse, that is absolutely a worry for everyone.
After a heated meeting in Richmond, CTV asked the top Indigenous leader in the country about the controversial Cowichan ruling.
I think anybody that is a public figure around this whole extortion is a target, and this is very, very scary.
A house riddled with bullets in Surrey over the weekend is the home of a well-known Punjabi singer.
I spend a significant amount of my time here, as you can see.
And a city councillor on the hot seat about his attendance record, why he's spending so much time in the Okanagan.
This is CTV News with me, Jung Lee.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us. We begin with a significant legal move by the NDP government over the Cowichan Nation court ruling. The Premier reiterating today that the province is moving ahead to seek a stay in the case, essentially a pause. The controversial decision has sparked widespread concern over private property rights. CTV's Ben Milger has the latest.
Clearly, your people here knew about it. I'm going to assume you knew about it.
Residents at a town hall in Richmond gave Mayor Malcolm Brodie an earful, blaming him for keeping them in the dark on a landmark court case which could impact their property rights. Brodie did inform homeowners in a letter, but not until a judge had already ruled in the longest court case in Canadian history.
If that brick comes loose and things start to collapse, that is absolutely a worry for everyone.
The ruling grants the Cowichan tribes title to about 750 acres of riverfront property in Richmond. It includes city and federally owned lands and also private property, including homes. It has left residents wondering if they actually own their property.
How do we look after these people that may not be able to get insurance and a mortgage? Are we forcing them out of their homes? How do they even sell their home if this is the case? Government needs to step in and provide that certainty.
The Premier says anyone having trouble renewing a mortgage should notify the province so they can include the details in an upcoming court filing.
We will be proceeding with a stay application. In this case, asking the court to hold off on the implementation of the decision until the Court of Appeal has had their chance to weigh in.
In the decision, the judge paused implementation for 18 months to give the parties involved time to negotiate. The National Chief of the Assembly of First Nations thinks that would have been a better way to settle the land dispute.
I'm speaking generally, I'm not speaking on any case, but there's always a better way. And it's better to be at the table talking to each other rather than fighting in courtrooms.
The City of Richmond and the province are appealing the court ruling. So is the Musqueam Indian Band, which also claims title over the land in question. Ben Milger, CTV News, Richmond.
A dramatic development in Victoria today. Premier David Eby is threatening to call a snap election. It all hinges on the passage of a bill to fast-track construction of the North Coast transmission line to power future resource projects. So what's the likelihood of an early election? Here's CTV's Rob Buffum.
We'll have to be ready.
It was a shot across the bow by the Premier, threatening an early election.
This is non-negotiable for us. I would stake our government on it. Those 10,000 jobs, the prosperity for British Columbians. The last thing I want is an election, but we'll be prepared if it's necessary.
Just over a year after securing a razor-thin one-seat majority, Eby was adamant British Columbians will go to the polls if his party's Bill 31, legislation that would fast-track construction of the North Coast transmission line, doesn't pass.
Our government is committed to the 10,000 jobs that this bill represents. We're going to deliver those for British Columbians, and I would stake our government on that.
If the Premier wants to go to this brinkmanship, I can tell you, as the Conservatives, we will be voting against Bill 31. So if he wants to go to the polls, drop the writ, let's go dance.
Eby's NDP have 47 out of 93 seats in the House, a one-seat cushion to pass the bill if they rely on the House Speaker to break a tie.
We have a very narrow margin in the legislature.
Wednesday, the bill passed second reading, but still has committee stage in third reading. And the Greens say they don't know if they'll support it. Opposition MLAs say they think this could be an excuse to call an early election.
Election calls are opportunistic. We believe in fixed election schedules, so we shouldn't even be talking about this.
Let's dance. I'm more than happy to dance.
It's unlikely, but all of a sudden, British Columbians may be doing the cha-cha to the polls much earlier than expected.
And Rob joins us live from Victoria. Rob, the legislation in question isn't a confidence vote, so how could it potentially trigger an election?
Good question, Mijung. Mike Farnworth, the House Leader today, said that he could actually designate it as a confidence vote. Again, it's important to remember that the NDP do have enough votes to get this through, but with absolutely no wiggle room. The vote will take place next month or at the very latest the last week in December. And even if it does pass, it could be seen through the lens. This developments today is Premier Eby introducing this idea, sort of priming the pump for the notion of calling a snap election, rationalized on the basis of the need to have a more robust majority to get legislation like this passed. Mijung.
We'll see what happens. Okay, thank you, Rob. Now to the extortion threats targeting Surrey's South Asian community. CTV News has learned a home in Surrey that was shot at over the weekend belongs to famous Punjabi singer Carney and Trump. Video online shows gunmen firing multiple rounds at the house. CTV's Yasmin Gandam has more.
Social media video shows gunmen firing multiple times at a home in Surrey's Newton neighborhood early Sunday morning. Sources confirmed to CTV News the home on the 7800 block of 124th Street belongs to Carney and Trump. He's a famous Punjabi singer who lives in Surrey.
Well, I think anybody that is a public figure around this whole extortion is a target, and this is very, very scary. And you know, people should be able to feel safe.
Sources close to Trump have been advised not to comment as the investigation is ongoing. The Lawrence Bishnoi gang has claimed responsibility on social media because of Trump's connection to another famous singer. But Anna says more needs to be done to hold the group accountable.
Both the RCMP and Surrey Police Service have been asking for a special prosecutor to be attached to this horrific incidents around extortion that's happening throughout British Columbia. And I do think the provincial government needs to act on this if the police are asking for it.
Ottawa has declared the Bishnoi gang as a terrorist group, and the RCMP has a dedicated task force to combat extortion threats. Surrey police confirmed several people were inside at the time of the shooting, but no one was injured. The attack comes just 12 days after Bollywood comedian Kapil Sharma's Caps Cafe was targeted for the third time. It also comes as earlier this month, a man with alleged ties to the Bishnoi gang was sentenced to 6 years in prison for a shooting and arson attack at the Victoria area home of well-known Punjabi singer A.P. Dillon. The judge found the 26-year-old was acting on the instructions of the Bishnoi gang to commit targeted criminal acts in Canada. Surrey police say the motive of this shooting is still under investigation. Yasmin Gandam, CTV News, Surrey.
Police in Surrey are appealing for witnesses after another business was hit by gunfire. Officers were called to this gymnastics club in the 15200 block of Croydon Drive around 11:30 Tuesday morning, where they found damage caused by gunshots. They say nobody was inside the business at the time and no one was injured. The Bank of Canada has lowered its key interest rate again, the fourth cut this year, bringing the overnight rate to 2.25%. The move is meant to help Canadians through what the bank calls a period of adjustment as the economy struggles under U.S. tariffs and slowing growth. CTV's Reagan Hasegawa explains what the change could mean for BC's real estate market.
For Metro Vancouver homeowners and buyers, Wednesday's rate cut could mean a little extra breathing room. The Bank of Canada has now lowered rates by a full percentage point since January, hoping to spark confidence and spending as the economy slows.
U.S. tariffs and trade uncertainty have weakened the Canadian economy. We expect very modest growth through the rest of the year, with some pickup in 2026.
Governor Tiff Macklem says tariffs from the U.S. and soft exports are weighing on growth, even as prices for food and gas stay stubbornly high. But for anyone paying a variable mortgage, the cut does bring a little relief.
Anybody who is currently carrying a variable rate mortgage will feel a reduction in their mortgage payments of about $13 per $100,000 of mortgage money you owe. The main thing that we see after an interest rate reduction like this is renewed confidence in the market.
That confidence may encourage buyers to return to the market, but with a record number of listings in Metro Vancouver right now, sellers still face tough competition.
This is not a market for aspirational sellers. The most motivated seller in the neighborhood is going to set the new market price for that sub-area.
Economists say today's move was widely expected, but the tone from the bank signals something new.
Kind of a bit more of a surprise was how clear they were that they think that that's where they'll be stopping for now.
The next decision comes December 10th. With the cost of living still straining household budgets, many will be watching closely to see if lower rates finally bring some lasting relief to Canadians struggling to keep up. Reagan Hasegawa, CTV News, Langley.
The Canadian Taxpayers Federation has released a new report warning BC's debt is growing at an alarming rate, and taxpayers are the ones footing the bill.
This government desperately needs to rein in their out-of-control spending and stop racking up that kind of debt for British Columbians. Because just like with your family credit card, big debt today means big interest payments down the line.
Yeah. The findings show total provincial debt has jumped 136% over the past year, and that every British Columbia now owes the equivalent of $27,000 toward that debt. The Federation adds that interest payments alone will cost more than $5 billion, and by 2027, those payments are projected to hit $7.6 billion. You're looking at a live shot from Grouse Mountain. Beautiful pinks and purples, as our director promised.
Yes.
And we doubted him, but he was right.
It is very nice out there. We're seeing partly cloudy skies. The early morning cloud coverage cleared up quite nicely as promised. A beautiful night out there, so get outside and enjoy it. And pretty warm as well. Look at that, 12 degrees at the harbor and in Burnaby. 13 right now in North Vancouver. You're looking at 12 degrees in Pitt Meadows. A touch cooler in Abbotsford at 10 degrees. 13 in Chilliwack right now. So as we head through the overnight, we will see a few clouds. Patchy fog will develop overnight, dropping down to 6. Into tomorrow, we'll start off cloudy once again. It does clear up late in the afternoon, early evening with a high of 12.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Plan, book, and safeguard your journeys. Explore the possibilities at expediacruises.ca.
So tomorrow is going to be the calm before the next storm, and it is going to come just in time for trick-or-treaters. It will be wet and windy. I've got your full forecast coming up.
But have no fear. There's ways to protect yourself from the rain.
Anything for candy.
All right. Thanks, Ann. A Vancouver City Councillor is defending his attendance record after selling his local home and buying property in the Okanagan. As CTV's Isabella Zavarisi reports, one opposition councillor believes it raises questions as to whether there should be guardrails on who can run for local politics.
Councillor, you're muted.
Brian Montague attended virtually on October 21st. It's not uncommon for councillors to do so, but he has never actually lived in the city of Vancouver. And now CTV News has obtained records that show he sold his North Vancouver home last year and purchased a property in the Okanagan in March.
How's that going?
Well, I'm happy to have a conversation with you about that. I'd like to have a conversation about that off screen, off camera first, okay. Because where I live and where I might have property is within my financial disclosures. I can tell you that I rent a piece of property on the North Shore, and I'm living on the North Shore.
Montague, a former Vancouver Police media spokesperson,
I spend a significant amount of my time here, as you can see,
was absent from 65 votes since April, according to public records.
From mid-April to mid-May, I was in California on holidays, which is probably why I missed polls. Otherwise, I don't think I've missed any.
He doesn't own property in Vancouver. He doesn't live in Vancouver. What are his interests in the city of Vancouver?
This comes as city staff have been ordered back to work in office 5 days a week in the new year.
And yet we're not putting that restriction on ourselves as councillors. So is that fair, you know?
Montague maintains he is representing those who voted for him.
My priority is to make sure that Vancouver is the best city it can be. My priority here is public safety.
I think it probably maybe even demand some kind of reform on who gets to run in local elections, and should they have some kind of representation in the city.
Montague tells CTV News he won't be running again in next October's municipal election. The mayor's office is defending the ABC councillor, calling him a dedicated public servant. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
The City of Vancouver has announced the appointment of its next Integrity Commissioner. Tracy Lee Lawrenson will begin her 2-year term on November 1st. A trained lawyer, she's the founder of e-learning and consulting company Civic Excellence and has 2 decades of experience advising local governments across the country. A major breakthrough in a series of violent sexual assaults 3 decades ago. How DNA technology led police to a Vancouver Island man. Also ahead.
I knew what was happening. I knew I was dying.
Searching for the Good Samaritans who saved his life after he suffered a heart attack cycling in Pitt Meadows. When CTV News at 6 continues, stay with us. The Patello Bridge will be closed to northbound traffic from 9 p.m. tomorrow tonight to 5 a.m. on Friday as construction on the replacement project continues. Southbound travel into Surrey will not be affected. The N19 night bus will be rerouted over the Alex Fraser and Queensborough bridges between New Westminster and Scott Road stations. The bridge will also remain open northbound for pedestrians and cyclists. A push to lower Vancouver's voting age to 16 has been rejected at City Hall.
You're against democracy. You're giving kids a right to vote. Come on, shame on you. Shame on you.
Environmental advocate Paul George yelling those words after the decision. Green councillor Pete Fry brought forward the proposal aiming to give younger people the right to vote in local elections. But those plans won't move forward after all of the ABC councillors oppose the motion. Municipal elections are next October. A Pitt Meadows man who says his heart stopped for 6 minutes when he went into cardiac arrest while cycling is desperately searching for a pair of Good Samaritans. He credits them and the care he received from first responders and healthcare workers for giving him a second chance at life. CTV's Michelle Bernaro has more.
59-year-old Paul Craig is a competitive cyclist, but while out on an easy ride along a quiet dike in September, he started to feel faint. He fell off his bike and blacked out, suffering a sudden cardiac arrest.
I knew what was happening. I knew I was dying.
He understood what was happening because of what had happened to his brother.
18 years ago, while out on a bike ride with my brother Jim, he was 39 years old at the time, he died of a cardiac arrest in my arms, effectively, while I was doing CPR.
Thankfully, it would be different for Craig. He says a man and woman found him, called 911, and then the man rode Craig's bike to the nearest street and brought firefighters back.
There's no question in my mind that, you know, had the couple not been walking on this dike and had they not found me, I would not be alive today.
Firefighters worked to save him until an ambulance arrived.
There was a 6-minute period while they were performing CPR that I was not breathing and had no pulse. So I was dead for 6 minutes.
Paramedics rushed him here to the emergency at Ridge Meadows Hospital. He remained in hospital for 3 weeks. He says the couple who called 911 have no idea how grateful he is to them.
I don't even know if the people that found me know that I'm alive. And that's the thing that kind of upsets me.
And he says despite BC's overcrowded hospitals and healthcare struggles, staff at Ridge Meadows went above and beyond.
The caregivers and the people in the system are world class.
Among those he wants to thank Dr. Elizabeth Lee and RN Ruby Brar.
We all work together, everybody on the floor, like doctors, nurses, healthcare aides, housekeeper, everybody. But I really appreciate I was part of his journey.
Craig, who had an internal cardiac defibrillator placed in his chest, says he's cherishing each moment with his family as he recovers.
I'm very grateful for my life, that I got it back.
Michelle Bernaro, CTV News, Pitt Meadows.
Cold case solved. Decades after the crimes, a Vancouver Island man has been charged charged thanks to DNA technology. Also ahead.
We had a tremendous meeting today with South Korea. We made our deal. We're pretty much finalized.
Donald Trump, the guest of honor at a dinner hosted by Korea, was face-to-face with the Prime Minister for the first time since trade talks broke off. That's ahead. Have a news tip, video, or photos of breaking news from your screen to ours when you see it happen? Send it to CTV News. Email us at vantips@ctv.ca or text 10400. Prime Minister Mark Carney and U.S. President Donald Trump faced each other in person for the first time since trade talks suddenly broke off last week. The two were guests at a dinner hosted by South Korea's president ahead of the APEC summit. CTV's Judy Trinh reports.
A red carpet welcome for the Prime Minister as Air Force One loomed on the tarmac. Mark Carney was whisked away for a dinner invitation by South Korea's president. There was no denying who was the guest of honor. Earlier in the day, Lee Jae-myung presented Donald Trump with a replica crown and a medallion representing South Korea's highest honor. Carney and Trump didn't engage each other during the photo op before dinner, but at the table, they pointed to each other in acknowledgement, and Trump briefly locked eyes with Carney after the toast. At the table, Trump said what the Koreans wanted.
We had a tremendous meeting today with South Korea, and we made our deal. We've pretty much finalized a trade deal.
That's not the case for Canada, not after this anti-tariff ad.
America's jobs and growth are at stake.
Trump terminated trade negotiations 6 days ago and is threatening adding 10% tariffs on top of what Canada already has.
How was dinner, Prime Minister? You chat with the president at all, sir?
Very good. Had a very good conversation with all the presidents.
We don't know if Carney and Trump talked about resuming negotiations, but we do know that Carney will now focus on talks with Canada's second biggest trading partner, China. That takes place Friday. Judy Trinh, CTV News, Gyeongju, South Korea.
A BC man has been arrested and charged following a decades-long investigation into a series of sexual assaults.
Advancements in DNA technology and resulting forensic analysis by the Centre of Forensic Sciences linked the 4 assaults to the same individual. That was the turning point. From there, our team utilized investigative genetic genealogy and employed other investigative techniques to identify a suspect, an individual living in British Columbia.
52-year-old Jason Timothy Davidson was arrested in Campbell River on Sunday and has been transferred back to Ontario. He now faces 15 charges, including kidnapping and aggravated sexual assault. Police say the 4 separate sexual assault incidents happened in southwestern Ontario between March and August of 1997. New hope for leukemia patients who have received bone marrow transplants. Also ahead, winters come early for parts of West Vancouver. That's next, along with your Halloween forecast coming up. Bone marrow transplants have saved countless lives, but often come with life-changing consequences. But as CTV's Martin McMahon reports, new research from BC Children's Hospital is providing new hope.
For childhood leukemia patients, bone marrow transplants are one of the few options available. And while up to 80 to 90% of those transplants are successful, there's a significant risk of chronic graft versus host disease, or GVHD.
When we transplant this brand new immune system in, it can reject the entire body. And that can actually, people die of that, or it can cause a chronic disease.
GVHD can lead to devastating consequences.
I've even had one adult say to me, if I had known what this disease, this chronic graft versus host disease was, I don't know if I would have had the transplant and be cured of my leukemia in the first place. I'm not sure the suffering I've had over these 10 years or 20 years is worth it.
But work from Schultz's team at the BC Children's Hospital Research Institute offers new hope. They've identified that GVHD has 3 subtypes, with early data showing one type responds to standard steroid treatment, while one doesn't.
Our goal is to not only get that cure rate and that cure from this type of therapy, but also to get it safe enough that people go on and have a completely normal life.
For parents like Katharina Sagan, who now works at BC Children's Hospital after seeing her own son go through childhood leukemia, this research provides hope.
Hope means that you will be able to get married, you will be able to graduate, you will be able to finish high school, university, drive, and do a lot of the things that normal young adults can do.
Sagan's son Bailey was actually treated by Dr. Schultz 20 years ago.
With a lot of the research that's coming out right now, it does give a lot of families a fighting chance and better outcomes.
As for Bailey, he survived childhood leukemia, even going on to play football for Vancouver College, with hopes this research will allow others to live similarly full lives. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Vancouver.
A heads up if you're heading to Cyprus, winter road conditions have arrived. West Vancouver police sent out this photo along with the reminder to slow down on the roads this fall and this winter. They're also reminding to make sure that you have winter or all-season mud and snow tires on your vehicle. And did you get your snow tires on?
Oh, yes, we did that a couple of weeks ago. I know you had that on your schedule.
Confirmed, it's done. Task completed.
Perfect. It's funny we're showing that snowy picture because today it looked like spring and it felt like spring as well with warm temperatures. The hot spot across the country was Victoria, 17.5 degrees. Close, but not close enough to the record set back in 1962 at 18.9 degrees. So right now we're in between systems, a mix of sun and partly cloudy skies out there right now. We are going to see some more cloud move its way in. We do have a system offshore bringing in some wet weather for the north coast and for Haida Gwaii. So here's a look at our storm tracker. Here's that low I mentioned bringing some wet weather for the north coast as well as Haida Gwaii. You'll see windy conditions through the afternoon tomorrow as well. Increasing cloud coverage to start off the day for us tomorrow, but it'll stay dry. We will clear up quite nicely through the afternoon. We're keeping an eye on the next system that will bring in stormy conditions as we head into Halloween. Unfortunately, wet and windy, and it's expected to be a soaker as well. You'll see lots of sunshine for the southern interior tomorrow. Your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen. Mix of sun and cloud for Port Hardy, highs to 10 degrees. You'll see mostly cloudy skies for Campbell River and Comox, 10 degrees as well, with some sunny breaks in there. That's what you can expect for Tofino. Mostly cloudy skies with a high of 11. Other than that, from Port Alberni right down to Victoria, a mix of sun and cloud with temperatures between 10 and 13 degrees. 10 degrees for the Sunshine Coast with partly cloudy skies. Mostly cloudy conditions up the Sea to Sky Highway. 7 for Whistler, 10 for Squamish, and for us across the lower mainland. We will start off with some cloud coverage. Clears up quite nicely. Temperatures between 11 and 12 degrees. Enjoy it because it's going to be stormy Friday for the trick-or-treaters. 10 degrees, wet and windy conditions continuing into Saturday morning before it clears out of the way, warming up to 13. Don't forget to turn your clocks back an hour before you go to bed on Saturday night. Unsettled for Sunday, a few breaks and a few showers, drying up for Monday with some sunny breaks in there. And then more wet weather moves its way in for Tuesday and Wednesday with temperatures between 11 and 13 degrees. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So rain, wind, it's not going to damper really anybody's spirits, right? Especially when candy's on the line for trick-or-treaters.
Yeah, they're focused on one thing. How much candy can I collect?
Exactly.
It's more the parents that might want to like wrap it up early. Let's go
Start
home.
early, go home early, and just eat candy, I say.
Yeah, and bring that umbrella. Okay, thanks, Ann. It's a slang term popular with kids, and it's now named the word of the year. We'll tell you what this trendy phrase is. Ann.
I expected to get any transfer from him. I didn't expect to have money go out of my account.
Canadians are being bombarded by scammers. Now a new coalition is trying to protect people from fraud. That's coming up. Taking a look look at today's markets. The Canadian dollar traded for 71 cents to the American dollar. Oil was up 33 cents, closing the day at $60.48 a barrel. Gold gained more than $17 on the day. The TSX and the Dow Jones both finished lower, down 274 points and 74 points respectively. The company at the center of the AI revolution has become the first to reach $5 trillion valuation. NVIDIA has evolved from a niche video game processor to an integral player in the artificial intelligence boom. The tech company's stock, which rose more than 4% today, has climbed more than 50% in the last year. This comes after CEO Jensen Huang said NVIDIA expects $500 billion in AI chip orders and announced plans to build 7 new supercomputers for the U.S. government. Zellers is making yet another comeback with a new store opening in Edmonton tomorrow as part of a multi-phased rollout. By spring 2026, the discount retailer will begin announcing new locations across the country. The company says it will focus on low-cost options and selling fewer items, opting for clothing, luggage, and home goods, and doing away with toys and pharmaceuticals. Chances are you get them almost every day, scam texts that look like they're from your bank or Canada Post. While most of us know we have to be careful, consumers are becoming increasingly worried. And now there's a new coalition to try and stop the fraud. CTV's Pat Foran reports.
Many of us are bombarded with fake texts on a daily basis. They may say you have a 407 bill due, money from the government ready to deposit, or a traffic ticket. They might also say you have a delivery from Canada Post, a job offer, or a rebate from your phone company. Kevin Borisic of Bowmanville recently used Facebook Marketplace to sell a fishing rod. He got an e-transfer link sent to him and expected to receive $150. Instead, when he clicked on it, he was scammed out of $400.
I expected to get any transfer from him. I didn't expect to have money go out of my account.
A cybersecurity survey by Equifax found that 1 in 3 Canadians received fraudulent job offers or fake CRA texts in the last 3 months. The survey shows 75% of Canadians worry about being hacked, 13% admit clicking on a fraudulent link, and 6% have already had their identity stolen. Equifax says many of the scam messages are designed to sound pressing, pressuring you to act fast.
Any of those urgent requirements, that should be the first red flag that there might actually be an issue here.
There is a new website, Stand Against Scams, which is part of a national awareness campaign launched by the Anti-Scam Coalition. Companies have come together to help educate Canadians on how to protect themselves and recognize fraud. The central message is a 3-step process: stop and think. Check to see if it's legitimate. If you're not sure, ask family and friends. And talk, then share details about scams to protect others.
The best strategy at this point is vigilance and using multiple layers of protection.
Be suspicious of any unknown text you receive until you can check it out thoroughly, and be cautious before clicking on links sent to you. Borisic says he was hoping to make a little money selling a fishing pole when instead he was scammed out of $400 he can't afford to lose.
You hear it all the time happening to different people. You never expect it to happen to yourself.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Adrenaline junkies are excited about plans for a new roller coaster at the West Edmonton Mall. The Mind Bender closed for good a couple of years ago, and soon after, the mall announced a new ride would replace it. Now, people who love roller coasters are doing some detective work. In a local industrial yard, they've discovered orange and green tracks built by Vekoma Rides, a Dutch roller coaster manufacturing company. And those tracks match company branding at the mall's amusement park.
I was driving down the road and saw the track. We had some rumors about the color, and the tarp was blown off. I was able to identify the colors, and instantly I put 2 and 2 together.
Regardless of what it ends up looking like, the new ride will have big tracks to fill. Molly, Bumbleberry, and Sprinky are all ready for adoption, and that means Homeward Bound is just ahead. And
here's Jake DeBrusque as Garland had a collision with Carrot.
A big hit late in the first period last night knocks Conor Garland right out of the game. How the Canucks plan to stay afloat as injuries continue to mount. The Ringside Report is still ahead tonight, and so is garbage and air guitar. Adam finds out how a homeless man on the island discovered a unique way to improve his community. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Right now, here's a preview of your morning, Vancouver.
As trade relations remain cool with the U.S., Canada is looking elsewhere. Thursday on Your Morning Vancouver, the latest on Mark Carney's bid to strike trade deals in Asia. Also, what you need to know about menopause hormone therapy, who benefits from using it, and why it's been controversial in the past as we wrap up World Menopause Month. Plus, on the heels of a 6-game winning streak, the BC Lions are playoff bound. How the team is looking to keep the momentum going. We'll see you in the morning.
The Ringside Report, brought to you by
CapitalDirect.ca. Let's make your vision a reality with Capital Direct.
Things just keep getting worse for the Vancouver Canucks. They're now without their top point getter after Conor Garland took a hard hit in last night's loss to the New York Rangers. The Canucks have now left for a 3-game road trip without him. Captain Quinn Hughes and 6 others who have already gotten hurt so far this season. CTV's Shannon Patterson now with this week's Ringside Report.
During Tuesday night's loss to the New York Rangers, team points leader Conor Garland became the 8th Vancouver Canuck to suffer an injury this season.
It certainly looked like his head snapped back and potentially a whiplash situation. So he did play the full second period of the game. So maybe you think he's out of the woods at that point, but then doesn't come out for the third, and he's not making the start of this road trip.
Injured captain Quinn Hughes also didn't catch the team charter to St. Louis for Thursday's game.
Quinn Hughes is without a doubt 100% far and away their most important, their best player. And it's hard to win when you don't have your best player.
There's no word when center Philip Hida will return after this massive hit during the Canucks' win against Washington 10 days ago.
We're looking at least 6 concussions that have been documented at this point on the player, and there's a lot of people that are worried about his future.
The Canucks are also without Niels Höglander, who was hurt during the preseason, and 4 players injured during early season matchups. Teddy Bluger, Jonathan Lecker-Mackey, Victor Mancini, and Derek Forbert.
There's just no managing through this, no matter who you call up, no matter who you try to trade for, sign, whatever. The simple truth is having 8 guys out of the lineup not available is it's a nightmare.
Is there a point where you're like, what am I supposed to do as a coach?
Oh, I don't think you can even think that way. And that's a good question, because I think it's a fair question. But I think you just can't go that way. You know what I mean? We're going to keep going the way we're going.
I mean, I think if you're Adam Foote, you can't get rattled. You can't show that you're frustrated, and you can't allow the injuries to become an excuse in the locker room.
After an injury and drama-filled season last year, there was hope the Canucks could stay healthy and be a playoff contender. 11 games in, they're under 500.
In a league where realistically you probably still need 95, 96 points to make the playoffs comfortably, a 500 record only gets you to 82 points.
If the Canucks want to make the postseason, they need to start winning with the players they have.
It is the next man up, and there's nothing you do except keep going. That's what we're going to do.
Shannon Patterson, CTV News, Vancouver.
The Ringside Report, brought to you by Capital Direct.
CapitalDirect.ca.
Dictionary.com has revealed its 2025 word of the year, but it's not really a word at all. The online dictionary announced the numbers 6-7 for the annual pick. 6-7 is a slang term often used by kids and teens over the past year. It's supposedly another way of saying so-so, or maybe this, or maybe that. The site says the term was chosen because it reflects the social trends that helped shape 2025.
That's not a good pick. I'm sorry.
I've never heard of this before. I'm so out of it.
You just say 6-7. That's what my niece and nephew do. And
6-7.
I tell them to use regular words.
Yeah,
same here.
Okay, so your niece and nephew use this.
I learned it this weekend, and I was like, no, don't say that. Use regular words.
But now
that's not a word.
But now that it's in dictionary.com, totally not cool anymore.
No, hopefully it stops everybody.
It's jumped the shark.
Yeah, I think so.
I bet your niece and nephew don't don't know what jump the shark means.
No, I don't either.
Neither do I.
We're the generational gap here.
Okay, it just means that the trend has passed.
Oh, okay.
I'll explain more later. Okay, well, it's time for Homeward Bound, our weekly segment where we introduce you to furry friends from local rescues who are looking for their forever home. Here are some cats from the Vancouver Orphan Kitten Rescue Association, also known as VOCRA. If you're looking for a calm and chatty companion, this senior sweetheart just might steal your heart. 12-year-old Molly can wear a lot of hats and would enjoy being the queen of the household. This loving kitty has some ongoing medical needs that requires taking a daily medication, but she handles it like a champ.
Adorable. Well, two sweet sisters are looking for their forever home, and they come as a package deal. 8-year-old Bumbleberry is full of charm. She's talkative, food motivated, and always looking out for her little sister. 7-year-old Latte, she is playful and, like her sister, loves food and will meow to remind you when it's mealtime. The pair share a special bond and can always be found cuddling and keeping each other company.
And 5-year-old Sprinky may seem a little shy at first, but with some time and treats, he is sure to become a beloved addition to your household. The Tuxedo Cat is a quiet and low-maintenance roommate who doesn't require constant attention. He's quite content lounging nearby or playing with his favorite toys, which include feather wands and belly buttons.
Cute. Sprinky, is that like a combination of springy and spunky?
Clearly.
We're gonna have to ask, yeah.
But then they said he's really calm. Okay, who knows? Okay, for more information, you can head to vocra.ca. And just before we get to Sawatsky's sign-off, Craig's here with a preview of CTV News at 11:30.
Yes, we're going to have a busy night ahead. So especially here in the city of Vancouver, councillors shot down a motion to allow the voting age to drop to 16 years old. We'll have a reaction from all sides as one councillor pushed for the change. Also, the city of North Vancouver is warning the community of a fake letter. You're seeing it now that was passed around regarding Indigenous land in title. This comes a day after Richmond residents flooded a town hall meeting after a controversial court ruling. We'll have all those details tonight at 11:30. Hey, John.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you, Craig. Well, when a Vancouver Island man lost his business during the pandemic, he lost his home and sense of purpose, too. Adam finds out how he was able to turn his life back around by serving his community on the Sawatsky Sign-Off.
Jason Perry is in the midst of a journey he never expected to begin.
It was a shocker, for sure.
During the pandemic, he lost his custom cabinet business.
Overwhelming stress.
Followed by his home.
I'm just living in the bush.
And when he realized that being homeless was permanent, his former office manager, Shirley Chamberlain, says Jason's mental health started seriously suffering.
His walk's different, not taking care of himself.
But then one day, while wandering by a discarded box that had been stuck in a highway ditch for ages, Jason felt compelled to do something about it.
And I just jumped in there, ripped it out. There's another one, another one, another one, another one. A lot more than I thought.
Jason says he spent the next couple hours picking up every piece of trash.
It just felt awesome, positive.
So he did it the next day, and the day after that. And now, more than a year later, keeps doing it.
He has something to do to look forward to that he was doing himself.
And if he began feeling bad, Jason discovered, if he started picking up garbage, he'd always end up being happy.
It's magical almost for him.
And it's definitely purposeful. A mission, Jason says, to help the environment, raise awareness about homelessness, and spread positive energy to all the drivers who pass him.
Started doing that.
And then, because they would honk back, turned into an air guitar.
Turned into an air guitar. The more excited the traffic gets, the more motivated I get.
And the more people you make smile, Jason says, the more likely they'll smile at someone else.
It spreads like wildfire.
And when Jason finishes each project, like an artist completing a canvas, he signs the area with a happy face, heart, and peace sign, hoping to inspire others, no matter their circumstances, to make their world a better place, too.
Making a difference his way, the community being receptive of it, is a beautiful thing.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Parksville.
Aw,
Good for him.
amazing that he's just taking joy in such a simple thing.
Yeah, and he's making other people happy with his nice little guitar sign there.
And it's nice to hear the honk says, I'm glad he's wearing this bright orange though, because he's on the side of a highway. You want to be visible, you want to stay safe,
Definitely,
right?
and now it's nice and clean. All right, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot for tonight. We talked about snow earlier. We'll take a look at the snowy sunset along the Alaska Highway, northeastern BC, Taylor, BC that is. Thanks, Lavana, for sending this beautiful photo in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well, so email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
Very pretty. See, some Canadian kids get to trick or treat in the snow.
We'll be doing it in the rain and in the wind.
Can't say that we didn't warn you, though. Storm coming Halloween, but we'll enjoy a nice day tomorrow.
Exactly.
All right, thanks, Ann. Craig will be back tonight with CTV News at 11:30. Thanks for joining us.